Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the Starscartel channel. If you don't know, I'm Star. Um, so today I'm here with a dream. In this dream, there was a couple that decided to move out to kind of like a rural area. Um, when they get there, their neighbors mistreat them. Um, they assault them, and they end up singling out the woman in this couple and assaulting her. Um, the couple leaves for the hospital. And while they're in the hospital, okay, so during this part of the dream, I saw two different things. I saw the couple in the hospital getting a test done so that they could have evidence. And I also saw the people who were messing with them celebrating, thinking that they had finally ran them off, or like they had finally made them go away. Okay, so after this, after they are at the hospital, the police begin to investigate what they had done. Okay, so the police began an investigation on all of the people who were named in this situation. Um, and then they began to start making arrests. At the end of this dream, after the arrests were made, the people in the that did this to this woman thought that they would get whatever time sentence and that would be it. But then the woman decided to sue. Okay. And before I made this video, so I wasn't planning on making this video today, y'all. And God just started speaking to me, and He was saying sometimes when bad things happen, we think that it is the end of um it's the end of the world. But God is saying that sometimes bad things that are orchestrated in an attempt to attack you can be turned around and used in your favor. Okay? And in this dream, that's kind of what happened with this situation. That's what happened. This was something terrible that happened to this woman. It was something awful that happened to this woman. However, she turned it around. God turned it around for her favor. um, so the scripture God sent me to comes from Acts 20. When the disturbance was over, Paul brought his disciples together to encourage them. Then he said goodbye and set out on his journey to Macedonia. He traveled throughout its regions, providing as he went many words of encouragement for the Christians there. Finally, he arrived in Greece, where he stayed for 3 months. As he was on the point of embarking for Syria, a plot was hatched against him by certain Jews. So he decided to return by the way of Macedonia. Accompanying him were Sopater, son of Pyrrhus from Beroea, Aristarchus, and Secundus from Thessalonica, Gaius from Derbe, Timothy from Tituris, Trophimus from Asia. Sorry, y'all, that deep sigh was for the long list of other names that I was about to have to go. These companions went on ahead and waited for us in Troas. We ourselves set sail from Philippi as soon as the festival of unleavened bread was over. 5 days later, we joined them in Troas, where we spent a week. Okay, so God is basically telling me that I'm going to keep reading the scripture, but it's kind of like it's a journey that they had to go on. And while they may have had a bad day on some days, they had good days on other days. On the first day of the week, when we gathered for the breakfast of the bread, Paul preached to them because he intended to leave the next day. He kept on speaking until midnight. As it happened, there were many lamps in the upstairs room where we assembled. Paul talked on, and a certain young lad named Eutychus, who was sitting on the windowsill, became drowsier and drowsier. He finally went sound asleep and fell from the third story to the ground. When they picked him up, he was dead. Paul hurried down immediately and threw himself on him, clutching the body to himself. Don't be alarmed, he said to them. There is life in him. Afterward, Paul went upstairs again, broke bread, and ate. Then he talked for a long while until his departure had done. To the great comfort of the people, they were able to take the boy away alive. Okay, so we see in his journey, it may have felt as though it started out a little rocky. It wasn't exactly the way that he pictured it. However, at the same time, when he got there, he was able to perform what he was able to. He was able to do what he was meant to do. He was able to, like, it was a reason for him to be there. That he was not. It's not a situation where he did not get there on time. I'm being reminded of the movie Big Fish, when he gets to the town and they say one time I think he's too early and the other time he's too late. It's not a situation like that. God is saying that everything that happens along your journey is meant to happen, because you're meant to get somewhere on time. And in order for you to get there on time, these things, they have to happen. Like these little things that and sometimes they're very detrimental to us. Sometimes they're very traumatizing. Sometimes they're very awful things, very tragic things. But I just feel like God is saying that um it was meant to destroy you, but God turned it around to elevate you. It was meant to tear you down. Just like in a dream, that situation was meant um to make them run, to make them run away, to make them scared to carry on, to make them feel outnumbered, to make them feel unwelcome, to make them feel unwanted. And then it was turned around, when, they were held accountable for their actions, and that's not easy to do. I just feel like even just the whole thing is something that it's not easy to do. It's not easy to just keep up, to pick yourself up and keep on going after something like that happens. And it's definitely not easy to do it when you are planning on being surrounded by the people that did it. But I just feel like God is saying that um, whatever it is that you had to endure, or whatever it is that you went through, like, it was meant to happen, but it's happening for your good. Like, that's just like, let's say you're working at a job, or you're going to school somewhere. I'm being reminded of when I was going to beauty school. I was at beauty school, and I wanted to go to beauty school because I wanted to get my certification. I had already started the steps of creating my makeup line. I had already began to be an influencer online, and I was already doing makeup tutorials online. But I just wanted that piece of paper. So I'm in school, and I'm literally like just going to school. Like, my plan was, I'm just going to school, I'm doing my schoolwork, and I'm going home. I did not go to school to make friends. I did not go to school to socialize. I did not, like, I had no intentions at all. That doesn't mean I was a mean person and I didn't know anybody and they didn't know me. But it was basically like, I'm not about to be trying to find a best friend here. I'm not trying to go out with nobody here. I don't trust nobody here, Loki, with good reason. Anyways, so we had did this thing. We had did a hair show for the school, and during this hair show, these girls were, and I had no idea they felt this. Like, nobody took out the time, effort, or energy, for them to feel so passionately about the fact that I wasn't socializing with them. They did not take out the time to tell me that. They ain't talked to me about it, but they talked amongst themselves behind my back and decided to steal my car. And I was so upset. And what really, it was funny to me at the same time because I hated that car. I hated that car. I hated that car. I hated that car with a passion. I couldn't reach the steering wheel. I couldn't. The brakes were awful. The tires were bad. I owed a lot of money on it. One of the doors was messed up. Like the car, I hated that car. I hated that car. I hated that car. I hated that car. And it was like since the moment I bought that car, it had just kept accumulating. Now I got to get this fixed. This happened. That happened. That happened. And I'm still got to pay the note. Still got to pay insurance. I hated that car. Anyways, hated it. Okay, it was an Impala, '09 Impala for anybody that's curious to what kind of car it was. I hated it. Anyways, they stole the car. Okay, I already knew what they did to the car because I didn't seen this story before. I already know how people get down when they feel some kind of way about you and they stealing your car just to steal your car. I know they trashed out the car. I know they probably stole a bunch of my stuff. I know they probably, I already know. I already know. I already know. I already know what it was. Because I was like, don't nobody want that car. Nobody want that car. Nobody want I was upset, y'all. And then I got a new car. And my new car was my dream car, okay? My Cadillac DeVille. Now, and it was something that was very frustrating for me on so many different levels. And I truly feel like they were trying to plan something else, but they didn't know or they didn't stop to think that I could possibly have the Uber app on my phone and just call the Uber to come and pick me up. But um yeah, people was grimy. But anyways, I just feel like God is saying that, it looks like it's a bad thing. It looks like it's a bad thing. It looks like it's a bad thing, but there is a blessing in it. Okay? So this is for somebody. It's something, and you're going through it right now, and it's something bad. It is like devastating. And God is saying that He is going to turn this devastating thing around for you. He is going to turn it for your good. It could even be something like um, a rumor, like maybe somebody made up a rumor about you and it's not true. Somebody started talking about you and, behind your back, and they said something about you, and you feel like your feelings is hurt and you feel like this is the worst thing that could happen. Maybe you feel like a lot of people believe the lie, but God is saying that He's going to turn that thing around for you, okay? Regardless if this person is going to get caught red-handed doing whatever they accuse you of doing, or if it will be a situation where you are going to, just be yourself and people will realize that it's not true. But, in reality, I feel like in that kind of situation, God is saying you can't control what anybody say about you. You can't control what nobody think about you. You can only control your own actions. And if the rumor don't match your personality and what you actually got going on, then y'all know, like ain't nobody got time. 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 I don't have no time. I don't have no time. I don't have no energy. And y'all, like I just feel like I would not ever take out the time, effort, and energy to sit around and argue with somebody about what I did, who I am, and what choices I've made. Okay, I know what I did. And I made, regardless if it was a proud moment or not a proud moment, I admit and I own up to what I did. So what nobody is gonna do is gonna try to come up to me and tell me who I am and what I did and what I do. Cause no, bye. Okay. If I did that, I own up to that. Period. But if I didn't do it, I'm not finna sit around and listen to somebody trying to tell me what I did and did not do, because they don't know. Period. You know what I'm saying? That's the message. God is saying it is something good that is going to come out of this. It is something good that is going to come out of this. It is something good that is going to come out of this. If you have a business and somebody has made up a rumor about you in an attempt to ruin your business, God said it's going to do the opposite. It is actually going to pull you up. They bringing attention to you. Um, what is the saying? Bad publicity is good publicity. And it's especially good because what they trying to put on you is not true. So once it's found out to be not true, even the people that they did turn against you gonna turn against them and come back to you. So God said, don't worry about that. Everything bad that happened, it happened for a reason, and it is actually going to be flipped around and going to go in your favor. That's the message. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Happy Sunday, and I'll see you guys later. Deuces.